Hello, I'm Gill Fielding, and this is what's caught my eye in the media this week. Well, I read a report from the Transparency International organisation, which suggests that there's about £5 billion worth of property in the UK, mainly in London, bought with money that can't quite be identified. And the suspicion is that a lot of it's probably Russian money. And there's been various organisations trying to trace where this money has come from, but broadly it can't be found. But that's not really what's of interest to me as a property investor. There's two things that occurred to me as I read all the information about it. First of all was £5 billion worth of overseas money in the UK property market. It just goes to show how highly regarded the UK property market is as an asset and how everybody from every country wants to be involved in it. And the second thing that occurred to me with the report was I probably don't want to get involved in that kind of area. So I always avoid what I call the oligarch circle, which is in central London, where they tend to pay overinflated prices for properties. And those properties in what I call the oligarch circle don't react in the same way as the UK nationally, which is driven by demand and supply. But £5 billion worth of property held in the UK. Quite interesting. Now, who wants to be a millionaire? Now, it used to be that you had to have the brains of Judith Keppel or be the 1 in 14 million person who had the lucky lottery ticket. But apparently now all you need to do is to own a property. And now 1 in 11 properties in London are now worth over £1 million, and 1 in 42 properties, I think, across the country as a whole are worth over £1 million. They're extraordinary figures. Because for most people, their house forms their major asset, and it's an incredibly flexible asset because you can release equity from it, you can use it as a pension, you can rent it out, and obviously you can sell it for the funds. And so I think being invested in property is the most fantastic thing you can do, and it sure as hell beats trying to learn an encyclopedia and having the general knowledge base of Judith Keppel, or hoping for that lottery ticket, which probably will never come. Now, about 20 years ago, there was a woman called Rona Martin, who was the skip of the GB curling team when we won the gold medal. And every 4 years during the Winter Olympics, dear old Rona pops up again as a commentator and as an expert on the BBC. And she's there again now commentating on the curling. Now, what occurs to me watching Rona is, does she only work every 4 years? Does she only get an opportunity for income when the Olympics are on and she can commentate as an expert on the curling, which she does brilliantly, by the way? And it got me to thinking, if you only had income every 4 years, you'd get really, really good at budgeting, because you'd have to make sure that the money that you got when you commentated on the Olympics lasted until the next time the Olympics came around. Now, I doubt very much whether it's Rona's only source of income, and I doubt very much anybody has income space between 4-year intervals. But most of us have income space between weekly or monthly or maybe quarterly or sometimes annually intervals. And the skill with budgeting is to make sure that what money comes in lasts until the next time money comes in. And if it's a week, divide the money you've got by 7. If it's a month, divide it by 30 or 31, so that you know how much you have to spend every day. And just thank your lucky stars you're not Rona Martin, and you're not trying to make your income last until the next Winter Olympics in 4 years' time. That must be a tough call. That's it for this week. Keep safe.